One of the biggest problems of our generations is finding that inner strength to get up and study. And I say our generations, not because studying was easier before than it is today, but because 50 years ago, they didn't really have as many distractions as we do now. They didn't have a cell phone to vibrate every 2 minutes and mess with their concentration. And there wasn't really so much to do outside of studying other than going out with friends or pursuing their hobbies or some other activities like that if their main purpose was to go to university or college to study and to get a degree. And every time a student back then had to make a decision to, for example, leave studying for later and have some fun instead, it was a decision that they were taking responsibility for. It was a decision that they were making with awareness. And what I mean by that is that it was just this simple. If I go out tonight, I'll miss my evening study session and my classes tomorrow morning. And if I do this every week, it's obviously gonna have repercussions on my school performance and my exam results. Now, this has obviously not changed since then, but apart from these straightforward decisions, we actually unfortunately have some additional problems nowadays that we can't really control so well. Now, I don't think that our generation is less motivated than people from a few decades ago. I just think that the level of determination to leave all the distractions and keep studying and keep grinding has to be much higher nowadays than it was before. Take, for example, study breaks. When we take a break after a long study session, we usually go on our phones, and of course there are many options, but to be honest, the most convenient one for most people is the cell phone. And from there, the options are scrolling on Instagram, watching a video, or continuing the Netflix series you just started, and so on. But how many times has it happened to you that you said you're just gonna take a short 5-minute break and do some mindless activities like, I don't know, scrolling on Instagram, and you ended up spending 30 minutes of your study session when in reality it should have only been 5? Or how many times have you told yourself that you're just gonna finish this episode and then go back to studying, but the ending was so suspenseful that you had to watch the next episode, and so 40 minutes of your study session are now gone. Does this sound familiar? Because if it does, I obviously feel you. So this is obviously a thing of self-discipline and not an excuse for our lazy asses, but it's much easier to prevent a disease than treat it. It's much easier to avoid a problem than to deal with it afterwards. So that's why, in my opinion, it was way easier before. Another thing are the job possibilities today. Because, some decades ago, it was like you go to school to get into college, you study hard in college to get a degree, and with that degree, you can get a job to support yourself and your family, and that's basically it. The only recipe for a quote-unquote good life. But now, we know so many successful people that drop out of college. We know so many employers that care more about what you're really capable of than about your diploma. So that's why today it's much easier to say that you're gonna skip college because you can achieve that good life even without spending 4 years on memorizing useless stuff. Now, personally, I think college teaches you much more than that, but that's a story for another time. So now, obviously every problem has a solution. So what should we do to improve our motivation? I think, without getting into too much detail about this, that the really important thing is mastering the self-discipline, becoming the boss of your decisions and not letting yourself go with the flow. Because the flow usually isn't really going in the right direction, and becoming aware of yourself, of your decisions, and of your environment, and of how to stay on your own path and follow your goals regardless of what's happening around you is really, really key. Guys, that's it for this video. Thank you so much for watching. Thank you for supporting me and supporting this channel, and I truly appreciate it for being here. And I hope this video was maybe helpful in some way. And yeah, I hope to see you guys in my next video. Bye!